G'day ladies and gents, Full Face here, coming at you live and direct. Thought I'd do a bit of a different review today. As you can see behind me, we've got two Yamaha Teneres. Quick run around of these ones. This one's actually a customer's bike. So it's got a few extras on it. It's mounted with pivot pegs, big block tyres, has a full Barrett exhaust, your bark busters, and a couple of little extras. You get some RHK risers and other bits and pieces. So this is one that's been prepared earlier. And as you can see, just to compare, we have a brand new stock one. So this is what the tyres they actually come out with. Your Metzlers, standard foot pegs, standard bars, bar raisers, and your standard exhaust. The only added extra to this one is a Jivy tracker top box and plate. So first off, let's have a look at this dash. That's pretty cool. Got a couple of trip meters, digital fuel gauge, odometer and speedo, and you've got a normal analog tacho. That's pretty cool. Switch blocks, dead simple. Two switches on and off and a start, hazards, indicator, horn. Not much to that. Mirrors are a little bit weird. They seem very small. Anyway, oh, listen to that. I was thinking you'd be able to feel the vibration more. You can't. It's not that bad at all. It's a little bit there. It feels like a KLR 650 or something. Feels alright. Alright. Let's have a look. Straight off the bat, I like the seat hump. It's hugging very, very good. Let's go this way. I'm actually going to cut through this car park. Stuff waiting there. And here's my old work. There's the boys. Oh, so there's not a lot of revs there. It's very tractable straight off the bat. It feels very comfortable. It is top heavy though, as you would quite expect coming off a road bike. Putting your foot down that first time does feel a little bit awkward. You're like, oh shit, am I going to tip or something like that? Nah, you sweet as. Especially having a bit of practice with the motocross bikes, but I really like this riding position. The way he's put risers in here is dead on for my feeling, like my geometry, I guess, whatever you want to call it. But it is very tractable. This just sort of lugs really well. Brakes aren't the greatest. Although, like I said, with this one's had big block tyres for a bit more off-roading capabilities. It's not really going to be the best stopping bike on the tarmac, you know what I mean? So and sort of leave that for, looks like it has ABS. The windscreen's actually quite good. I'm really not feeling anything. It's So this is probably as good as my Ninja as wind protection, which is a bit strange, being how high I feel right now. But I like it. I'm going to actually take it for a little jaunt through town, because this is one of the things that this bike's probably going to excel at a bit more than you would think it would, because of this low down grunt. That grunt. It'll just take off from anywhere and do what you please. That first initial lean over feels a little bit odd, but I can see how you're going to get used to that. It sort of gets into a pocket and then it feels really safe, but that initial fall over does feel a little bit weird. It's a little bit touchy in the accelerator. Could definitely have a little map adjustment there. But as far as that off the bottom torque, it's a bit of fun right now. Always been the sort of guy who has more top end power. I'm your turboed car guy, not a V8 guy. A couple of Ducatis. Get out of here because this is shit. That is a really, like, you just don't expect that limiter to be so early, and it just is. It does feel a little bit top heavy. On my way out, I said to my mechanic who used to own one of these, I said, "You got any tips for me before I take off on it?" And he said, "It's going to feel sketchy because of the tyres, and it's going to be really top heavy because you're used to a road bike." He was dead on. But not as much as I thought it would be. Like, ooh, there you go. Okay, so it doesn't like third. It doesn't really like third off the bottom. But he was right. It does feel a little bit top heavy. But I mean, you ride this around for an hour and you're going to be so used to it. And it's really not going to cause you any grief. Just take it easy on the first little ride, obviously. I'm not a fan of the mirrors. I would do something about them if I owned it, probably. The D-cell, the engine braking's actually very good. It actually handles really good. I don't mind it. Once you get used to how it sort of sits nose high. There's the old spot. Some of you might remember from some early vlogs at my old school. Yeah, no, I don't mind that. That's really good. Now you can have a fulfill. The brakes aren't the greatest, I will warn you. That front brake's not doing anything for me, eh? The rear's not bad, but it's adequate. The rear's adequate, the front's not. That's like squeezing pretty damn hard. But you got that torque there, that just picked the front wheel up then. Okay, a couple of little specs and information about the Xt660Z Tenere. I think these were released in like 2008, 2009 or something like that. Been out for a while, the Yamaha Tenere. These are hugely popular. You'd be surprised at some of the guys that get around on these. You know, I know actually guys who ride places like Erzberg in Austria and stuff like that in proper competition, and they'll ride one of these for their personal bike. They're a really good bike. It'll take you anywhere you want to go. It's as reliable as an ox, and you're just not going to have a problem with it. They are super customizable. GYTR have, I don't know, pages and pages and pages of stuff for these bikes. SW Motec, which is another company that's actually in Perth now, that have become very popular, do an absolute monstrous range of things for these bikes. You wouldn't believe how much you can get. Like crash protection bars that go all the way up to the side, bash plates, covers, new forks, accessories, all sorts of stuff. You can't go wrong. That's weird. Oi! I just slipped. These big blocks are scaring me. They are one of these bikes where you've got that Yamaha reliability. They might not be the fastest bike, it might not be the most comfortable bike, but this bike will take you to hell and back, no problems whatsoever. And you could still demand more from it if you please. Again, because some of our customers actually own these, I know what some of them have put them through, and the very little either damage or wear that goes on with them, it's pretty impressive when you have a good look at them. Now, granted, this is not my type of bike. Would I go out and buy one? Maybe later on down the track. It's not hugely something that you'll see me getting. I'm a sports guy. You know, good job. There's a bit of sand. But as I said before, my mechanic used to own one as well, and they're just known as, pretty much renowned as a really good solid bike. You can't go wrong with a Yamaha Tenere. A direct competitor to this would be something like your Xt660, your GS's, maybe the smaller GS. I'm just going to do a quick walk around while I have a quick chat to you about it, because I don't know how much you're going to get from the video I did at the shop. That's something new I'm just going to give a go from now on. A lot of people are not a fan of that front end. To be honest with you, I was probably one of them at first. I've gotten used to it, but there is a conversion you can do where guys will take this fender, or get an extra, it's more like a motard fender, and put it onto there to make it look a little bit more like a conventional bike, and that really cleans up the front end. It really makes a big difference. It's one of those things you grow into and you learn to love. Obviously the fender being down there is not going to have any issue to you while you're riding the bike, and you get used to it pretty quickly. The other notable thing, twin front discs. Now, I'm a little bit surprised by that. Maybe this bike needs a pad change. Twin front discs and Brembo calipers still just don't seem to be doing it for me. I don't know what the go is with that, whether it's this one, because it's got a couple of Ks on it, needs a pad change or something like that, but that's something that would be one of my first changes, is the brakes. That exhaust, it actually does well. I've started a stock one before, and they're really quite quiet. If you ever heard of an MT-03, the first version, you know what it's all about. And they're not bad. It's actually a really good engine, but I can see why it doesn't work as well in the MT-03. MT-03 is supposed to be an entry-level sports bike. You got guys that are gonna really want to have a fun. They want a bit of performance out of the engine. They want the feel and sounds of a motorcycle. This is a little bit different. This is more about practicality, anything else. Again, it's going to get you to hell and back and ask for more. Not want to look pretty going down the street. A couple of other notable things about this bike. Got a 23-litre fuel tank. Good for about 500 kilometres. You can't argue with that. I get about 300 Ks on the Ninja. I would really love a bigger fuel tank. Ergonomics again. This seat's really growing on me. I wouldn't mind if the hump was a little bit further back so I could space out or slide around if I wanted to. I could feel me maybe getting a little restless because of that, but you've got enough room to be able to stretch out. You're in an upright position that you're not going to get cramped up anytime soon. And yeah, I have no issues with it. Gearbox feels very solid, I've noticed as well. You're really not going to have a problem with that gearbox. It's very solid feeling and very engaged click on the way in. And I'm really glowing to love that motor. I mean, again, I can really see why it didn't work so well on the MT-03, but in this, it comes into its own element, it really does. It's got that low down torque. Reminds me of an XR600, the old school XR600 or TT600R even. And Yamaha do another version of this bike. They actually do a couple of them, but they do an Xt660Z and they do an Xt660R. And what that is this engine in a similar chassis with more of a motard look. And they're hugely popular as well, to be honest with you. They've got like street tyres and a little bit different suspension. They're a little bit lower, different seating position. And I think that one would suit me a little bit more. But after riding this one, it's really made me want to have a good look at that. So that's probably, if I can get my hands on an Xt660R next time, I'm going to have a go on that too. I don't know if you felt that then, but this is a come down the lug. That was in third gear coming around that corner. It's just a little bit low for it. And when you're on the edge of those big block tyres and the compression braking kicks in that little bit, you can just feel it start to slip. And it's done it about 3 times just on this ride so far. But the good thing I've noticed is being the longer style, more of a motocross rear end, we're going to say, that's also, it feels very controllable. Now, again, I've sort of slipped the rear end 3 times now, and it hasn't felt like I'm going to lose it. Like on the road bike, it's such a short wheelbase and low that it just feels like it's going to high side straight away. Whereas this gives you warning and time to react without overcorrecting. Which is obviously going to be good on the gravel roads and the dirt paths and trails that you're going to take this thing on. So yeah guys, in summary, Xt660Z Tenere. Excellent bike. You can take it anywhere, you can do anything on it. This is going to suit someone who wants something at about 70% road, 30% off-road. They take some single trails, they want anything, they can only own one bike. It's perfect for you in that situation. Only thing I won't even say I don't like about it. I would just say it could be better with a 6-speed gearbox, and it could be the slightest bit lighter, but you really don't feel that weight. Actually I will go straight. You really don't feel that weight while you're riding it. Just when you're moving it around off the bike, it actually, until you, I think, get it off road, it's going to feel extremely stable. So yeah, would I buy one? Yeah, I probably would. Other things, other little notes and points. The accessorizability of this thing, is that even a word? I don't know. But it's very, very good. You can turn this bike into whatever you want it to be, and it will do whatever you want it to do. Most people, from when they come into the shop and buy them, they swap out the tyres straight away. The Metzlers, although they're not too bad standard, most people want more off-roading ability with their Tenere. But again, that's the beauty of it. You can turn it into whatever you want it to be. So that's it guys. That's been the Xt660Z Tenere. And it's a very good bike. Recommended, and it has the full face seal of approval. Full face out!